Hi boys and girls, we're going to read our last two chapters of Junie B. Toothless, and I'm so excited to see how this story ends. I know a lot of y'all have lost teeth, and we've talked about the tooth fairy coming to visit. So here we go, chapter 8, Smiling. When we finally got to school, I started feeling shaky inside, because I didn't want to get laughed at, remember? Plus, I was still concerned about the fruit throwing. I closed my mouth real tight, and I walked back to my desk. Lenny smiled and waved at me. I waved back, then very slow I did a shy smile. That's when Lenny jumped up from his desk and he did a loud whoop. Cool, he said. You look cool, Junie B. Jose heard Lenny and came to see. Then he grinned and grinned at my brand new smile, and he gave me a happy high five. And that is not even the best part, because Mr. Scary saw what was going on and he came all the way to my desk to see my tooth, and he gave me a smiley face sticker. After that, he clapped his hands together and he made an announcement to room 1. He told them I lost my tooth, and he asked me to stand up and show them my new special smile. I swallowed real nervous. Then I stood up kind of jittery, and I opened my lips a teensy bit so the children could see my tooth hole. And what do you know? Room 1 was happy for me. All of them smiled real nice, except not May, of course. May just rolled her eyeballs. I think you look weird, Junie Jones, she said. I think your smile looks silly. I sat down. No, May, this is a silly smile, I said. Then I put my fingers in the sides of my mouth and I stretched my smile across my face, and I wiggled my tongue at her very fast. Lenny and Jose laughed, and guess what? At lunchtime, I made my smile even funnier, 'cause Lenny gave me a raisin, and I put it right in my tooth hole, and it stuck there very hilarious. Shirley laughed her head off at that joke. I am beginning to enjoy that girl. So, how much did the tooth fairy leave you, she asked. Did you get a bundle? Yeah, said Lenny. I was wondering that too. I started feeling squirmy again. I looked at Herb kind of worried. He tried to explain the matter to them. Well, Junie B didn't exactly leave her tooth for the tooth fairy yet, he said. All of the children looked at me. Why, they asked. Why didn't you leave it, Junie B? I squirmed some more. Then finally I took a deep breath. I've got issues with that fairy, that's why, I said kind of quiet. Issues? Asked Lenny. Like what kind of issues? I swallowed real hard. Issues like, well, like what does she do with the teeth, for instance, I said. For a minute, nobody said anything. Then May made the cuckoo sign at me. What does the fairy do with the teeth, she said. What kind of dumb issue is that? I flashed my angry eyes at that girl. Well, if it's so dumb, then you must know the answer, right, May? I said. And so what does the fairy do with the teeth, huh? She doesn't pay money just to throw them away, does she? After that, I waited and waited for her to answer. The other children waited too, but May didn't say anything. Well, I said. Well, said Shirley. Well, said Jose. Finally, May's face turned red, and she went to get a drink of water. After that, the whole lunch table started talking about the fairy, only no one knew what she did with the teeth. We wondered and wondered. Then, all of a sudden, Lucille stood up. So there's Junie B asking May about the tooth fairy. And she fluffed her fluffy dress. Well, guess what? I don't really care what the tooth fairy does with the teeth. All I care about is how much money she leaves. She looked at room 1. You're nothing without money, people. Remember that, she said. I tapped my fingers on the table, kind of annoyed. Yeah, only that doesn't even answer my question, Lucille, 'cause I still don't know what she does with the teeth. Lucille put her hands on her hips. Well, maybe she just collects them, she said. Did you ever think of that, huh? Collecting stuff is a hobby, you know. My Richie Nana collects tons of junk, and she pays good money for it, too. I tapped my fingers some more. Then I put my chin in my hands, and I thought about Lucille's Nana. Finally, I started to smile a little bit, 'cause maybe Lucille's idea might make sense, probably. Pretty soon, Herb smiled a little bit, too. A tooth collection, huh? He said. Maybe that's the answer, Junie B. Yeah, that just might be it. The fairy might collect teeth as a hobby or something. Sure, said Lenny. There's nothing wrong with collecting stuff. Like, I collect baseball cards, but I don't really do anything with them. See, and I collect matchbox cars, said Jose. What's wrong with that? Just then Sheldon springed up from the table. Yes, and I collect vacuum cleaner bags, and the doctor says that's perfectly normal. After that, Sheldon laughed, and he pretended to vacuum his pants. All of us moved away from him. Then the bell rang, and everyone went outside for recess. That afternoon, I wrote in my journal, Dear first grade journal, me and Herb talked some more on the playground. We decided that the Tooth Fairy has a tooth collection, probably, and that is not even weird. Also, I promised Herb I would put my tooth under my pillow tonight. I hope we are right about this, woman. From Junie B, first grader. P.S. I wish me all the best. Do you collect something, boys and girls? Maybe you collect seashells or erasers, rocks. Collection means you keep a lot of the same kind of object or item. All right, chapter 9, Miracles, the last chapter. That night, Mother put me in bed. Daddy was in baby Ollie's room. He was trying to rock that cranky boy to sleep. We heard Ollie fussing. I bet you're glad I'm not that bad, right, Mother? I said. That baby is just a pain in our necks, right? Mother laughed. Oh, believe me, Junie B, you were no peach when you were teething either, she said. Teething is whenever the baby's teeth are starting to come in. So y'all are starting to lose your teeth. The baby has starting to have his baby teeth coming in, and it hurts. She tickled me a little bit. Speaking of teeth, tonight's the big night, right? She said. Tonight's the night you're finally leaving your tooth for the fairy. I covered my face with my sheet. Don't remind me, I said. Mother laughed again. Don't be silly. This is going to be fun. She handed me my tooth to put under my pillow. I handed it right back to her. You do it, Mother, okay? You put it under my pillow, I said. And put it close to the edge, please, because I don't want the fairy tramping around down there. Mother put it close to the edge. She let me check it. After that, she leaned down and she gave me a big hug. I'm very proud of you, Junie B, she said. I'm proud that you got over all that silly nonsense Polly Allen Puffer told you. Thank you, I said. I am proud of me, too. After that, Mother kissed me goodnight, and she turned out my light. I quick turned it on again. Yeah, only I think I will sleep with the light on tonight, I said. You know, just in case I have to come running out of my room in the middle of the night because there's a witch in here. Mother did a sigh. Whatever, she said. After that, she gave me another hug and she closed my door. I jumped up and opened it again. Yeah, only I think I will sleep with the door opened tonight, I said. You know, just in case I start screaming my head off in the middle of the night because there's a witch in here. Mother said, I give up. I give up means the same as whatever, I believe. After that, she kissed me one more time and she left my room. The next morning, I woke up very relieved because guess what? I made it through the night. That's what. I hugged myself real happy. Then all of a sudden, I remembered about the fairy and my heart started to pound and pound because maybe there was some money under my pillow right that very minute. I took a big breath. Then very careful, I reached under there and I felt all around and bingo, my fingers touched something. I grabbed a hold of it and pulled it out. Then I sat straight up in bed and I laughed and laughed because good news, ha, money. I zoomed to the kitchen and skipped around the table. Money, money, I got money, I hollered real thrilled. Who wants to see it, huh? Who wants to see my money? Please raise your hands. I looked all around the kitchen. Then I stopped skipping because no one was actually in there. I zoomed back down the hall. Mother, Daddy, where are you? Where are you? The fairy left me money. Mother stuck her head out of Ollie's room. We're in here, honey, she called. I skipped into Ollie's room and showed them my money. So there she is, getting her money from under her pillow. And I know the Tooth Fairy's been leaving y'all money, too, for your teeth. Look, people, I got cash. I got cash, I said. Only I don't know how much it adds up to, but it is a bundle, I bet. Daddy's eyes got big and wide at my money. Whoa, the Tooth Fairy must have been feeling very generous last night, he said. I know it, I said. I love that fairy, Daddy. She left me money and she didn't even pinch my cheeks. Ollie was sitting in his crib. He smiled out the bars at me. I looked surprised at him. What's wrong with Ollie, Mother? I asked. Why is he smiling? Is he sick or something? Mother laughed. No, silly, she said. When I came in this morning, he was playing in his crib, happy as can be. I scratched my head. Really? Ollie's happy, I said. That's weird. Daddy picked him up. Well, actually, Ollie had a little surprise for us this morning, too, he said. He sat down with Ollie on the floor. Then very gentle, he took my finger and he rubbed it against Ollie's gums. Hey, I said, it's Bumpy. Daddy grinned. It sure is, he said. That's Ollie's first tooth, Junie B. My whole mouth came open at that good news. A tooth? I said. Ollie got a tooth? I felt the ridges some more. Wowie, wow, wow. Last night was a good night for both of us, I said. Yes, it was, said Daddy. What a neat coincidence, huh? Ollie got his first tooth on the very same night the fairy came to get yours. Mother ruffled my hair. It's almost like Ollie was waiting for the tooth fairy to come too, Junie B, just like you. I smiled at the thought of that. Then, all of a sudden, I stood real still, and goosebumps came on my arms. Wait a minute, I said real soft. What did you just say, Mother? Mother looked at me kind of strange. I said it's almost like Ollie was waiting for the tooth fairy to come too. Just then I did a loud gasp. That's it, I said, that's it. I springed way high in the air, then I twirled all around and I hugged Mother real tight. Ollie did wait for the fairy, I said. He waited for the fairy just like me. Mother and Daddy raised their eyebrows very curious. I skipped all around them in a circle. Don't you get it, I said? The fairy recycled. She recycled my baby tooth and gave it to Ollie. When you recycle something, that means you reuse it. So she thinks that the tooth fairy took her tooth that came out and gave it to Ollie. That's not really what happens. My feet started to dance. It's perfect, I said. It's just like Dan the soda can. The fairy took my tooth and she made it all shiny and new, and then she gave it to my very own baby brother. I quick bent down and felt Ollie's gum again. Yes, sirree, Bob. That's my tooth, all right. I know that tooth anywhere, I said. Daddy scratched his head. Well, I'll be, he said. Mother laughed. What a great idea. It is, Mother, I said. It is a great idea. Plus, also, it is a big relief, because the tooth fairy doesn't just throw teeth in the garbage. Now I know that for sure. I looked at my money again. There's another picture. She's jumping all around, excited that the tooth fairy didn't throw her tooth away. It's just like Miss Chris told us, I said, real squealy. Recycling makes sense. Get it, Mother? Get it, Daddy? Sense, C-E-N-T-S, sounds like sense, S-E-N-S-E. Huh, that's a good one, right? Remember we talked about cents. C-E-N-T-S is money, like coins. And cents, S-E-N-S-E, is like you're thinking, like you thought about something, like it makes sense. You understand it. After that, I zoomed to my room to get dressed for school. I can't wait to tell the children, I hollered. Room 1 is going to love this news. I put on my favorite pants and sweater. Then I quick ran back to Ollie and I felt his tooth some more. He smiled at me some more. I smiled back at him. 'Cause what do you know? I think I might like that boy after all. There's Junie B and Ollie. And that, boys and girls, is the end of Junie B. Jones' Toothless. I'd like to know what you think that the tooth fairy does with your teeth. So if you want, draw a picture of what you think the tooth fairy does with the teeth. And I have your parents take a picture of it, and they can send it to me through Remind or through a text message. I can't wait to see your pictures. I hope you enjoyed this story. We will start our new one soon. Good night. Sleep tight.